Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. Michael here again, and this is a follow-up to last video where, if you didn't watch it, it's in the description, where I talk about if you're improvising. You can be on the rails and play the change straight up, where you change what you're playing, chord tones, pentatonics, whatever, when the chord changes. Or you can push ahead and start playing that change before the change gets there, and the change resolves your improvising. Or the converse, which is you can hold back, let the change go, and then you catch up to it, and you are creating that tension, which then you resolve on your own time, right? You got things to do. So that's cool and all. That's a great practice. That'll change the way you look at improvising if you just do that, right? But this is also a fundamental piece of a device of the jam band scene, right? For those of you that are into Phish, into the Dead, and Allman Brothers, and all these types of bands, and you wonder how they get from this song to this song with all that stuff in the middle, and so many epic moments, and there's no train wrecks, no abrasive stops, and you say, well, how the hell do they do that? Well, the concept is generally pretty similar. It's predicated on two things. One, that the band is made of listeners. Everybody's listening. They know when they've been somewhere for long enough, and they know it's time to go, and they listen for the person that introduces the path, that introduces the change. And it's almost always, if you listen to this stuff, you watch this footage, it's usually one person that starts burp, burp, or some rhythmic change, and then somebody, oh yeah, yeah, and they add, oh yeah, yeah, and they and like eventually the whole band, gets some body language or some agreement going. There's some agreement, they're hitting the same thing 3 or 4 times to make sure everybody knows, and then there's like some little cue, a little keyboard side, whatever, then bam, everybody switches and you're there. The balloons grow up, the crowd goes crazy, and they do that as many steps as it takes to get to where they want to go. So, it's an oversimplification, but here's how it works in practice. Let's say you're in A, and you're doing some type of A vamp groove, and you are going to sing the next song, whether you've picked it or not, or it's chosen, whatever. And that song's in C, and you want a vehicle to get to C. Well, here's an easy example. You don't have to use this example, but this is an easy one. If I'm doing something in A, I might start flat sevening it, right? I might start G'ing that A, right? G's not in this groove, but I'm going to start throwing it in there. And eventually someone else is going to pick up on it, and we're going to be doing a G something. And then G, of course, is the 5 chord of C. I'm going to start hinting I'm going over to C, and then before you know it, you're going to be in C, and you're going to be singing your tune. The balloons will be dropping. Everybody will be crazy. Again, oversimplification, but it's about introducing something on purpose that doesn't fit and getting everybody else to go along with you. So check it out. Let's say we do this. So we're in A. We've been taking leads all day. Kind of hinted at it, right? I G'd it a little bit. So here's our rhythm. The whole band's doing this. You got horn parts, right? Right? All that stuff. Everybody's got their thing. And now all of a sudden you want to get to C, right? So we're going to flat 7 a little bit. Come around, everybody's like, oh, what was that? Totally not in the tune, right? And sure enough, someone's going to pick up on it, right? There's always somebody in the band who's first, and there's always someone that's last, no matter how good of a band you're in. Right? Oh, kind of missed it a little bit. And before you know it, everybody's going to be there together. Now I don't have a band, I have a loop pedal, right? So that thing's not going to change. But you do that long enough, and you look at each other, and you've been playing together long enough that you all know when you're going to turn. You do a little head switch, a quick stab of the keyboards, and all of a sudden you're... You know, you guys kind of are going to know what grooves you're, you know, in the neighborhood of what grooves you're going to. But now you're in G. The ultimate goal, of course, is to get to C, right? So let's say, let's clear that. So let's say now I'm doing some groove in G, right? We came from A, and now we're in some... doing this for a while, right? Taking leads. You know, and whatever you're noodling around with. And you got to get to C, which of course is here. Sometimes just little, let people know, okay, we're going there. But start getting there a little bit early. They're like, well, what's he doing? Before you know it, you do that 3 or 4 times, you know, whatever. Everybody's hanging on that leading tone, that B going to the C, and before you know it, you got... And you're feel free to sing. Whatever your vocal melody is. But that's the idea. I know this is a very big oversimplification of this whole process. But the idea here is to start introducing things in your playing that are outside of the rails, outside of the lane. You know, you can start by doing it harmonically or rhythmically, a little ahead, a little behind, you know, push it, wait for it. But the band is here, right? The band is here. And then you take that general concept, that general idea of introducing something purposefully that is outside of what that tune is. It's deliberate, and that is the core makeup of basically how jam bands work and how they get from one spot to the next and do key changes and get to the next song by step, one introduction at a time. Everybody's looking at each other or listening. Everybody knows their cues. Everybody's got their different quirks and their different, you know, stabs at it to let people know it's time. And then they switch together, right? And it's like, how did it happen? You know, the balloons drop and everybody goes crazy, and then they do that 3 or 4 more times. Before you know it, you're singing the next song. And that's basically how it's done. It's a commitment to listening and introducing new things. So even if you're not in a jam band, right? Even if you're just in a regular band that does one song after the next, get into the mindset. Just try to purposefully not play right down the middle, right on the rails harmonically or rhythmically. Start introducing new stuff and see if someone picks up on it. See if you can get somebody else in the band to say, all right, I'll flat 7 that with you. I hear what you're doing. I realize that that's not in the tune, but you know what? We're out having a beer. We're having a good time. I'll see your flat 7, you know? I raise you a sharp 11. Getting into that mindset is so much fun, and I guarantee you'll play stuff you didn't before. So give it a shot, and again, listen to these live recordings. You know, you'll hear these bands. It's typically one person in each little micro move that introduces it. It gets acknowledged. It gets committed to. There's some type of acknowledgement again, and then they're there, and then it's a weaving path. And sure enough, somebody else is singing when you get there. I just love this stuff. It's so much fun. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. Don't forget to subscribe, tell your friends, and please leave a comment about what you'd like to see me do. And as always, if you want to get all of my courses, I think I got like 10 or something over on GuitarGate.com, where I break down all this stuff step by step with jam tracks. It's only 10 bucks a month. It really supports me, not just there, but making these videos for free as well. I genuinely appreciate it. Good luck. Keep it in your hands. See you the next time.